June of 2016, and I was heading down to Washington to testify before Congress about police brutality in Brazil. This was about 6 weeks before the Olympics in Rio. So I was asked to be on this panel because in 2007, my nephew was murdered by a policeman in Rio. And in the intervening years, I had developed a body of expertise on this topic. But one of the things this meant was that I was a reluctant activist. When friends would say to me, "You're speaking truth to power," that just frightened me. So in June, when I headed down to Washington, I want to remind you that was during the presidential primaries. And it was a horrible time. Some of what was going on, in addition to Trump, was this expectation that good Republicans would speak out against what Trump was saying. There was an expectation that Paul Ryan would somehow renounce these statements and save the Republican Party. But Paul Ryan was then, as he is now, an amoral coward, and he was silent. So I went down to Washington full of fear and going to what at the time was a cesspool. I arrived early and I went on a tour of the Capitol. And on the tour, we ended up in the Hall of Statues, which is right next to where Congress convenes. And the tour guide at one point said in her perky tour guide voice, "Oh, look, there's Paul Ryan now." And I looked over, and he was just beyond where the judge's table is. He's standing right there. And I'm looking at this powerful man, and I'm thinking, he's just some guy. And it was fabulous. It was as if the scales had fallen from my eyes, and I saw power for what it is. It's nothing inherent. You give people power, and you can take it away. And I'm standing there, and I don't know what came over me, but I took a breath, and I said, "Shame on you! Shame!" And everybody turned to look at me. Paul Ryan turned to look at me. I think even the statues looked at me. And I went on to testify fearlessly. So I left Washington that night. I flew home. And when I got off the plane, I rushed to the ladies' room and started washing my hands, as if trying to wash off Washington. And I'm standing there and I hear a voice, "Did you see the lights?" And I look down and there's a 7-year-old. "Yes, I saw the lights." "Wasn't it beautiful? It looked like a field of flowers, only of lights." Her charms were utterly beguiling. We walked out together, her mother walking behind us, and we parted ways at ground transportation. And I got on the shuttle bus that takes you to the different parking lots for your car. And it was the end of the night, it was the end of the route. I was the last person on the shuttle bus, and we get to the parking lot, and it's pitch black. It was one of those satellite lots. They weren't even street lights. And I said to the bus driver, "I'm not getting off the bus. This isn't safe." And he looked at me, and with a very thick accent that I won't try to replicate, he said, "Lady, get off the bus. Lady." And I had no fight left in me. And so I got off the bus, and I'm walking through the lot. And as I'm walking, I heard footsteps. And I looked behind me, and it was the bus driver. And he said, "Lady, you be safe. I wait, I watch. You be safe." So I got in my car and I sobbed. I cried because yet again, I was reminded that the world can be a really horrible place, but a really beautiful place, all at the same time.